Hey there, chipmunks. It's been super cold in Sydney lately, so today we're gonna go ahead and make this nice, warm, hot, delicious pumpkin soup. You better stay tuned. Hey there, chipmunks. Welcome to Cooking with Angry. I'm your host, Angry Chipmunk. Chipmunk. Today, we'll be making pumpkin soup. And we'll be making this pumpkin soup with a Jarrahdale pumpkin. Yeah, this is a gray one. And a Kent pumpkin. We've tried a few different variations of pumpkins for this soup, such as using butternut squash and such. They didn't turn out as nicely. We've even mixed all three, but these two, when you use these two particularly, turn out super creamy and super good. So that's our starting base of pumpkin. We're also going to add an onion in it, some garlics in it, just a few cloves there. We'll need some stock. You can use whatever kind of stock you like. I just use like basic vegetable powder stock because I mean, it gets the job done, and what else do you really need? But you can use whichever one you want. Low salt chicken, probably not beef stock. I think that would make it taste real weird. So probably stick to one of the more benign flavored ones. As for some spices, I'm gonna put your classic American pumpkin pie spices in here with nutmeg and cinnamon. This is really going to set this one apart. So trust me on this one. First things first, this bad boy is not ready for cutting. So you need to take your handy dandy kiwi spoon. Remember when you could get these? I do. And just cut those seeds out of there with big old slurps. Gross. Ooh. Hello. So much easier when you've got a good utensil, right? And then I don't know if you can bake these pumpkin seeds like you can with other kind of pumpkins. I should find out sometime because I love pumpkin seeds, right? Delicious. Really good to bake them with like some soy sauce, I think. Yeah, soy sauce. They taste real yummy like that. Ah, jeez. Get all of its little slimy brain pieces out. Throw that away. Yuck. Now to make this easier to skin, I'm going to cut it in half. Like that. And a basic potato peeler. And that's it. We're just going to go ahead and peel this bad boy. Just like that. I mean, it's a little green. You can just go over it a couple of times. No big deal. Any yucky bits, you can just peel them up. But the skin on these things is really quite soft and really easy to peel. So you don't need to actually struggle that much. I believe that I found the butternuts were a lot harder to peel than this one. And also that they took longer to cook. So I don't know why I thought to try these pumpkins, but I did. And I think they are the vastly superior pumpkin for pumpkin soup. But yeah, peels up real nice, real easy. Potato peeler, all you really need. It does make a mess though, so just be prepared to have to clean up all of this mess. Look at that, so much mess. Mess everywhere. And getting in the little pumpkin grooves is a bit tricky. We'll come back to that one. Nice orange color though, right? I don't really worry about the mess. You're gonna make one. There you go, the end. So I'll just do basically because we've got the stick blender for this one today, just do a sample size. I don't want it too big because the stick blender struggles with pieces that are too big. Maybe if your stick blender is real nice, it won't, but you know, whatever. So there's some sort of sample sizes. Maybe you want more of the green off than that, but just something around that big will do for both of the pumpkins. I am going to have some of the meal making drink, which today is Pepsi and vodka, and finish up these pumpkins, onions, and garlics. And with the onion, I'll probably have it about the same size as the pieces of pumpkin, because again, it needs to get into that blender. But yeah, I'm gonna cut the rest of this up, and I'll see you when that's all done.
A few sips later.
All right, chipmunks, so we've got all of our pumpkin chopped up, and I must have delved too deeply into the pre-dinner making snack meal drink because I forgot to tell you how much we're using. This is in total about 1.2 kilos worth of pumpkin, spread fairly evenly throughout both the pumpkins. 1.2 to 1.5 will get you what I would consider to be 4 serves of soup. If you want to go more pumpkin, more soup. Pretty simples. To that, we're going to start off with 3 cups of stock. I've read some recipes that recommend 4 cups of stock plus a cup of milk, and that's no good. That's way too watery. It's like, why even bother calling it soup at that point? It's just liquefied pumpkin, and that's just gross. So 1.2 kilos, 3 cups. Go with this, trust me. So let's get this stuff started in the soup pot. To that, we add olive oil. Hopefully it's not too hot. It's on a lowish heat. This one is almost empty, which is what we want. And we're just going to go, that's pretty hot! Roughly chopped the garlic. And we're gonna give this a little bit of a fry or saute if you want to be fancy. Don't eat that to start with. Just for, I don't know why, but I always do it that way. Give your onion and garlic a quick stir around. That's good enough. And drop in your pumpkin. And as you can see, this is already really quite full in the pot. So if you're making more than this, I hope you got a real big pot. To that, add your stock. That was 2 cups. Now, yes, I have filled it up again to the 2 cup line, but I'm only going to add until it basically just covers the pumpkin. Ish. Because I was using a powder, I only put the powder in the first 2 cups and not the second 2 cups. And I always use like at least 2 times as much as it says to use because I don't know, it tastes better that way. But see, we have our pumpkins just about covered. Maybe it needs a little bit more water. So if you're using more pumpkin than however much I'm using, you can use that as a rough guide of how much water to add until it just about covers. Here is where I do the secret thing, which is now no longer secret. I'm gonna add my spices to the water while it's simmering. your nutmegs, however much you want to use, and your cinnamons. Was that too much? I don't know. We'll find out. Probably not. Every time I think that's way too much cinnamon, it turns out to be just the right amount of cinnamon. Why do I do it at this point in time? I don't know, because I think it tastes good. It was probably an accident the first time because I forgot what I was doing, and it turned out to be really yummy. So now I always add it in the simmering the pumpkin step. Whoopsie daisy. Smells really nice, I tell you. Was it too much? Maybe. Yeah, we'll find out. Now, put the lid on and leave it to cook and simmer. It's kind of a low heat on this one, but we're gonna leave that for like 30 minutes and check on it. Maybe check on it after 20-ish if you put the heat a little bit higher. We'll come check on it later and find out what we need to do with it then, which is actually just going to be blend it.
A few more sips later.
All right, chipmunks, it's been about 30 minutes, and this is how our soup is looking so far. If you can see that, this is why we don't add as much water as you think, because, you know, fruits and veggies and stuff, they all release water when they cook. You can just go ahead and turn that heat off. I am going to pre-mash the soup a little bit because our immersion blender is a little underpowered. Maybe it was just a cheap one from like, I don't know, Big W or somewhere, and it works, but you can probably get a better one. Anyway, so I'm just gonna give these a quick little mash just to help it a little bit. Also, I would recommend that if you are making mashed potatoes at home, go old-fashioned style and just use a hand masher, because that way you don't have to get your electric mixer dirty, but also you're going to end up with heaps and heaps and heaps of pieces of chunky potato in your mashed potato. And to be honest, that's like the best part and why you make mashed potatoes. So, you know, quick little get out. There we go. Quick little mash just to help the blender along. You don't need to do it if you don't need to do it. I do. All right. And now we blend. Follow the instructions for your blender. And now that I'm looking at it, it's looking like really dark. Normally it's a light orangey color. So maybe that was too much spice, but we'll see. This has to have cooled down. You can, of course, go as chunky or as creamy as you want, but as you can see, this was I think this was about 3.5 cups of water in the end. If you'd gone 4 cups of water plus a cup of milk, that's just way too much liquid, because look how thick that is. That looks pretty good to me. If you want it smoother, you can blend it until there's absolutely no chunks left whatsoever. If you want it a little bit thicker, then just go ahead and blend it until it's your desired chunky level. I think that's going to be good. Smells really good. So we're going to go ahead and plate this one, and we'll be back to show you the final result. Alrighty, chipmunks. So we've got our soup served up, and as you can see, it's got quite much spices in it. I didn't add any salt to this one when I was cooking it, so, you know, you can just add salt to taste. I'm going to add just a little cube of butter there. Guess it's not really a cube because it's not as wide as it is tall and all of that. And as well as that, I'm going to grate a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top so it has a nice contrasting flavor with the soup. Tastes quite good. You don't have to do that if you don't want, but I think it tastes quite good. And there you have it, chipmunks. Nice warm pumpkin soup. So, hope you make this one and hope you enjoy it, and please let me know what you think.